I'm Diana Shiplett.
And I'm Austin Shiplett.
And today we are sharing about when God interrupts your life. And I'm going to start by reading from Captivating. There was a part I read in the book that was amazing. It literally brought me to tears. It's just so amazing that I have to share with y'all. And this is also, what I'm reading is also an interruption. This interruption happened in the life of this woman, and it's just such a beautiful example. So I shall start. There's a question first before we go into it, and the question is, what lives, what destinies are hanging on your yes to God? And then it is your irreplaceable role. Our friend Janine has been a career missionary with OMS for 32 years. For the last 14, she has been pouring out her life in Medellin, Colombia, a city and a country infamous for drug cartels, murders, violence, a culture of death. It is not a place friendly to Christianity. 60 pastors a year are murdered in Colombia. She told us on a recent visit, Janine first followed God's call to teach Hebrew in seminary there. Then he upped the stakes, asking her to minister in the country's notorious prison, a single woman walking into the overcrowded all-male prisons filled with the hardened criminals, an incarnation of hell on earth, to bring the love of Jesus. You can read the rest from here to here.
I don't want to read.
Come on.
Why not you?
Okay, fine. I'm running out of
So
breath.
things happen.
Okay.
She was in Colombia. She went to prison.
In Bella Vista, or Bella Vista, in Bella Vista, a Colombian prison in Medellin, more than 6,000 inmates are cramped into a prison designed to hold 1,500. Up until 14 years ago, when the Bible studies began, Bella Vista was known for its violence. There was an average of 2 murders a day within the prison walls.
That's not what it says.
What? Honey, as lives are being transformed, the killings are slowing. She said, only 7 inmates were murdered from 1990 to 1997. That's quite amazing.
Okay.
Janine risks death daily, but she does not keep that from stopping her. For as she says, security is not found in the absence of danger, but in the presence of Jesus. More than 500 inmates are currently studying scripture at the prison, and literally thousands have been saved through the ministry Janine started. That's amazing. That's so amazing. I am so inspired by Janine. It's such an amazing story. What does that look for you as a man to have a godly interruption?
Specifically, I don't know. I say when it comes to God interrupting, it's pretty much individualistic, but specifically with my life, as it pertains to recently, God interrupted my life with this woman right here. It was not expected at all. Nor was it I tried to make, things go in that direction. I just saw God opening doors and connections with a new relationship, and I was willing to follow him to see what would happen. And as you can see, ended up in being in marriage.
So cute.
And there's been lots of other times God has interrupted my life. But I think it's not believing that you have a quote unquote God-given purpose, because I believe that people are made with purpose in general. I believe that that life is not about waiting for God to give you a divine purpose, but it's understanding that you are already made with purpose, and that at any given point God needs you to do something that's different than what you're already doing.
That's deep and hot.
Oh, gosh. So how do people react when God interrupts their life? I can definitely tell you there's definitely an example that we saw on this TV show that we've been watching too is The Chosen. Nicodemus, the Pharisee, was asked to follow Jesus, and he was very conflicted with who he was as it pertained to the Jewish society, and then following someone who he came to see as being the Messiah. And you see the confliction that he goes through when it comes to giving up the world and then going with God. I think a lot of people go through that mentally and emotionally a lot of times.
Yeah. For our viewers that don't read the Bible, can you share with them who Nicodemus is?
Nicodemus.
Nicodemus.
For those who want to know. For those who want to know, Nicodemus was a Pharisee in the Bible. It was a Jewish leader, like a religious leader. He was there. It was kind of like, I guess you could call him their pastor. He was like a pastor at that time. He's a religious head leader. And he was a teacher. He taught the Torah. He was supposed to live his life according to the Torah, the law, and then instruct others on how to do so.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about the topic on fear and trust when God interrupts our life.
Go ahead. You talk about being trust. I'll talk about it after too. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I've had God interrupt my life a lot, like so many times in just the last 4 or 5 years. The first one would be I used to live in Hollywood and was following a career in the acting industry, modeling, and God made me an invitation for the 100th time to follow him, and I finally reached a point in my life where I said, this time I am going to follow you, Jesus.
What made you want to ignore God?
What made me want to ignore God in the past?
Yeah.
I would definitely say it was a lack of trust that he could not give me the life I wanted. My biggest idols had always been fame, men, and money. And for me to follow Jesus, I knew that I would have to leave those idols behind. And that was, for me, that was really hard because to me, those were my gods. But I just realized that those gods didn't give me fulfillment. If anything, I had those gods and those gods were taking care of me well. However, I was inside dead. So I decided to leave it all behind and to jump all in
off a cliff
for Jesus. So I followed Jesus.
Did people think you were crazy?
Absolutely. Everyone did. Everyone was like, what are you doing? Have you lost it? Are you going to be a nun?
Yes.
Yeah. And then other things, other ways that I've had to say yes to Jesus and have my life interrupted was at the time I was living with my ex for 3 years, and he was my financial provider. So that meant that I would have to let it all go, my finances, and the love I thought was love at the time, in order to trust God with my finances and love. So it's I was stripped away from what I thought was my identity, but it was not my identity. The next one would be I was in psychology school because I wanted to go through school to make my dad proud, and God made me an invitation to let go of my psychology career, which I had spent thousands of dollars in, to go into full-time ministry school. And I'm so thankful because that is where I was able to be at God's feet for 1 year. And also I gained community, which was amazing. And then another one would be when I let go of my dream career at a rehab center that I absolutely love, to go on a mission trip for 2 weeks. And during those...
I don't know. You told me that you kept talking about Jesus a little bit too much.
Well, at work,
They didn't like that.
well, at work I would talk about Jesus, but they didn't like that.
They didn't like that.
They didn't like that, but I loved working there. Like, even though I got in so much trouble for talking about him, like, that was honestly a dream job. And, you know, when God called me to go to South Africa for a missions trip,
He opened the door.
well, that, and also, like, if I went for 2 weeks because he didn't give me the time off, I was going to lose my job. But then during my time in South Africa,
Job.
during my time in South Africa, God made me an invitation to come back and live there. So then I went and moved there. And that's also where I started a ministry called Give Her Courage Worldwide that helps women who have been physically and sexually abused.
I
So
thought that was that was the second time you went.
yes, well, because I went for those 2 weeks and then God invited me to move there. So then I moved back the year after for like 7 months.
Here. And in between that, you know, he had other plans.
Yes, and the oh my gosh, where I met him would be God made me an invitation to go take care of my grandpa for a week because he had surgery and needed help. And I call it an invitation because at the time my grandpa and I didn't get along. He had done some hurtful things and we didn't really talk, but I decided to go take care of him.
It definitely does feel like an invitation.
Yeah, well, because
God's like, here.
No, the reason why I say that is because like I was about to move to South Africa in a few months, but I thought to myself, I can't go out and serve the world if I can't serve my own family. So I went and served my grandpa, and during that layover, that is the best invitation God's ever made me. Well, I mean, I've had so many, but one of the best, because during that layover is when I met my husband. Yeah. So do you have any thoughts, comments on
Fear and trust.
Trusting Jesus? I'm so glad I'm so glad I chose to trust Jesus, because you're evidence of trusting Jesus and an answered prayer and so many things in my life, and the fact that I'm here, and I'm just so grateful. I could get emotional.
Fear and trust. I've had lots of things in my life where I've gone through ups and downs with those, especially with God. I've come to see it as a normal Christian walk, is going through those ups and downs with fear and trust. Because a lot of character needs to be developed, or a lot of bad character needs to be undeveloped. Lots of my struggle has been with finishing school, doing school over again, a lot of times. Believing that the direction I'm going has no real direction, but I'm gonna go that way anyways. It's just been, it's really like in the story in the Bible with Peter seeing Jesus out in the water and then going and jumping in the water, go after him, but then he looks down and he starts to worry about everything else, and then he starts to sink. And that's kind of what it feels like when God comes and he is wanting to lean you and push you in a different direction. The world around you makes it feel like you, and it's scary. There's so much uncertainty. There's so much certainty with what you already know. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
I'm sharing with them.
I thought it was just you and me for a second.
It totally
it's
is.
all of us.
See, it's just me and her and Jesus.
Oh
my gosh,
you're
this
little Mariana. It just works. Yeah, that's amazing.
But yeah, we wanted to share with you guys stuff that we've been going through when it comes to God interrupting our life, because we've had a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't expect it to not stop. I expect a lot more of it to come.
And hopefully one day we have a big interruption.
Or 2 or 3. But I would definitely say, women out there, if you are looking to reading a book, maybe picking up this book. It's called Captivating by, what's her name?
John
and Stacy.
Her husband.
Eldridge. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
well,
so amazing.
Yes, if you guys could leave comments about, prayers that you have, ideas for videos, or things you liked about the video, that would be amazing. We would love to get back to you. And we look forward to doing more videos together.
Yes, this was so like unplanned, but so awesome. So
It happens. God interrupted something.
yeah, God interrupted this. So it was so awesome. We love it. Thank you so much for watching. We love y'all, and we shall see you in our next video.
And like and subscribe, and then share it with other people.
Yes, please. Thanks. Bye.